They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression. It's all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause they got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't.
What it do, family? You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene with Wole, and it's time to talk Commanders. I'm not alone though. I got my guy in the building. He's the guest co-host and of this show and ESPN radio contributor, Darian D. Will Williams. What's going on, my guy?
Wally, what's up, man? How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to have you on, man. First, let me give you flowers, man. I saw the show with you and Lake with B. Mitch. Fire!
Thank you,
Fire!
Yeah, man. It's always a good time. I give big shout out to Lake Lewis and Mike Callow, who man, they've been two great point guards for my career as of late, man. They've been lobbing the assist, helped me create some great relationships at both stations, at ESPN 630 here and ESPN Richmond 106.1 down there. So you know, it's good, man. It's feel good to be a free agent, man. I feel like the old the old WWE days, man. You know, I'm a free. Who's the hottest free agent? You know what I'm saying? So,
man, called himself a free agent.
Hey.
I call it talent that everybody wants. You know what I mean? You're just a talent that everybody wants on their show, man. You're a popular item right now. That's what we like to call it.
Thank you, man. It's cool to be Zach Morris every now and
then.
Yeah,
exactly. It's big phone at all, bro. Big phone at all.
Yeah. It'd be like this, hello.
Exactly.
Mr. Belding, man, I'm parked in your spot. Sorry.
Or if you're like, hey, with the big phone, you're like, ESPN 630, you have to wait. I got Richmond.
Hey, listen, man. Screen and call it. Hey, man, I got a 30-minute segment just for me. Call back.
Exactly. When you want to match this, come holler at me.
Right. But nah, man, it's cool, man. Like I said, man, everybody that supported me, and of course you always keeping me in the mix. So I love it, man. It's a whole lot going on, and I'm just happy to be in the lexicon of Commanders things that's happening. So yeah, man, it's a good time.
Man, you definitely you in it because obviously you big with the Commanders, man. Like you content creator, fan, everything. Like this means something to you. So that's easy. You're an easy call up. And honestly, this topic is like it's like for you.
It's right for me, man. It's right for me. And I was trying to be like, look, I didn't want to go too homer and wear Commander stuff. So I put my Dodgers jersey on, my Mookie Betts jersey on. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, so y'all, I'm going to give an hour's worth of objective perspective about Dyami Brown. We'll see how long the rose-colored glasses before they come back on.
Look, man, I wanted somebody who has seen him throughout, from college to the pros. I felt like some people have their own perspective on it, but that's why I wanted you on, because I wanted to, I wanted your opinion of it. We got an off-brand question, and it's from my man Paul. Before I dive into with my normal spiel, it says, where should draft Caleb Wilson? Do you agree with Paul?
Not at the one overall. I think Caleb Wilson's a talented player. If the NBA would have graced the Wizards and made them fall to fourth or fifth like we normally do, I would be okay with it. But the Wizards actually did something right. They tanked properly. They got assets, and they still have a young core, and they got the top pick right now, which all signs are pointing to success. We're just hoping that they keep the continuity with the coaching staff and the front office, and hopefully they can be able to rebound on it, because I truly believe, Wiley, and I know this is a football show, but I truly believe, man, that this area is a hotbed for basketball, and definitely. they want the basketball team to be better, right? The football team is doing well. Baseball's, spotty here and there, but it's really up to the Wizards, man, to really bring the love for the NBA back. And you've seen all the things they've done at Capital One, where last year, they did all these upgrades, and it's like, man, why am I paying all this money to come here? Now, with the number one pick and some actual assets and Trae Young to go see, you could pack that place out, man. It could be more than just a Friday night thing with something to do for the fans, the family, or watching whoever they have at the concert series. It could actually be to go play the game and challenge the teams like the Hawks, the Knicks, the Pistons, which is going to be some good teams in the East. So I'm hoping the Wizards can rebound, take this pick, and it works out for them. And if it's going to be AJ, then let's take it and let's see what we can do.
What's going on, dude, Janae? Yeah, so, I just throw that out there. Paul, I'm not going to talk basketball. I'm going to stay on topic. So I just wanted to throw that out there to give you your flower. Because I know Caleb is
but Paul, I say this, though. Yeah. With the Wizards resurgence, you might see more basketball talk. You might have guys actually wanting to talk about the Wizards. Because if you're talking about the Wizards before this lottery selection, you were a diehard. And I think everybody had kind of fell all the way off and was like, look, I don't really want to talk about this no more. But now, everybody's getting back on the bandwagon. Now they're an interesting team to talk about and talk to. So, hey, it's coming soon, man.
I will say I give myself credit. I have talked about the Wizards even when they stuck. I have to go cover to my freelance stuff.
It's hard, man.
I'm a Lakers fan, but it's a horrible watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you know what? It's gonna get better, hopefully.
There you go.
But I like a lot of the young talent. So I mean, it is what it is. Before we tap into talking about Dyami Brown, we got to knock out some logistics. Check out our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube chat on our YouTube channel for the first time, please, and you're watching this video, hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. I see a bunch of y'all already pulling up. Just hit the like button and also subscribe. And if you're on like D Will's YouTube channel as well, do the same thing. Hit that red subscribe button, like this video. It does great for the Commanders algorithm. It's amazing for it. So if once you hit the like button, because obviously the topic is about the Commanders, and a bunch of people like it. Anytime like Commanders top, any of us post some Commanders like a Commanders video, it'll do well with the algorithm. So please, like the video. Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. And I also forgot, we do accept super chats. Super chats help us support our show. It's on the YouTube chat. So if you have a comment or whatnot and you want it to be elevated, feel free to give us a super chat. We're gonna make sure we prioritize that comment on the show. All right, let's get into our tradition. The pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We're going to debate whether we think Dyami Brown will have a valuable role on this team, or we'll also debate whether his job is actually safe. Right? I'm a believer in how much you get paid to see if your job is safe, and if you look at his pay, ain't that much money. So, but yeah, we'll dive into it. We're going to talk about all of that though. So, first off, D Will. Dyami, we all know Dyami Brown re-signed with the Commanders. But does he realistically have a defined role in this offense to you, or is he battling just like I mentioned in the pregame? Is he battling just for a roster spot?
Well, first off, I believe that Dyami coming back to the Commanders was the best thing he could have done for his career, and I say that for this reason: is that when he left on top with us, right?
Yeah.
He leave with a playoff Dyami. Now is his name. Had an excellent playoff and was able to do some great chemistry with Jaden Daniels. I believe him coming back is to resurge his career. I think he truly has an opportunity, and he has a connection with Jaden Daniels that it may not. He's not going to get a ton of targets. He's not going to get a slew of targets, but if Dyami Brown is the rotational guy like Noah Brown was, where it was oft injured, and you're like, why is this guy still here? I think that's okay for Dyami. I think he has ingratiated himself with this staff. I think they know what type of guy he is. They know what type of work he does. And I think he has an opportunity to really come back here and be in the rotation at wide receiver. And I believe you can tell that by some of the moves they haven't done this season, not re-signing Deebo Samuel. As of this point, not bringing in Stephon Diggs, not bringing in Brandon Ayuk, just drafting a receiver. and really letting them fight for it. So I believe he has an opportunity. You know, it would be harder for him had he not played here, of course, coming off the season that he had last year. But I think this coaching staff knows what they have in him, and I think they know what type of athlete that he is, and I think he will be able to fall right back in line here with the roster.
So personally, I think his job is, I mean, I feel like he has a role. But the money is concerning. Like, if I had to be real, like, you know, you can make the argument that it's not safe. You know, if it's a competition, I think the fair thing to say it's truly a competition. But I think, to me, what he has going for him is the comfortability with Jaden Daniels, right? That relationship, to me, got him back into DC. And to your point, it was the best situation for him after what he experienced in Jacksonville. Like, people don't really know what happened in Jacksonville, like, because I have the NFL, I have the NFL ticket. So I was watching a lot of, because I like Dyami, I was watching a lot of Jacksonville games. And I actually like the quarterback too.
Jacksonville was playing well last year, so it was an easy watch to pull up and watch the Jacksonville game. Yeah.
So in the beginning of the season, if you don't know, like, Dyami was featured heavily in the beginning of the season. He actually looked good to a point where some fans were like, "Oh wow," they were mad that they let Dyami go, right? But then he had like a game where he had drops, like he did. He had one touchdown in the back of the end zone. I forgot what game it was. It was right in his spot. Yeah, I think Cincinnati. That's the game. That's that game actually. And he dropped the ball in the end. He dropped it in the end zone, and they ended up losing that game because I think Cincinnati came back. It was a game they easily had won. So that from that point on, his role started going backwards, and then he got hurt. And then that made it even more challenging. And then they made the trade for what's his face for the Raiders. The trade for the wide receiver for the Raiders.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. But they made the trade for him, and then he took off. Like, they took off with him as the receiver. So from that point on, he lost his job. And I would say, like anything, Dyami struggled in Jacksonville, and like Jacoby Myers. Thank you, Paul. Jacoby Myers. He struggled in Jacksonville because of that said reason. But coming back to your point, coming back here with familiarity with Terry McLaurin, a guy who he rides with a Jaden Daniels. There's no secret why. Like, when you look at when Jaden Daniels invited receivers, to was it the West Coast for that quarter? It was in the West Coast, right? And they all were there together. Dyami was there. Like, he was there. So the relationship is there. And it's something that we as Commander fans had an issue with, even, when the offseason hit after 2024. Yeah, you got Debo, but it wasn't hard to bring back a Zacchaeus or so a Dyami or any of those individuals because they weren't going to get paid a lot. And also, you want chemistry, you want to have a familiarity with something that you had in prior season, right? And to go into a season and have those guys gone, you're making it tougher for Jaden Daniels, right? Especially when he had success with these guys. And to bring him back, a guy that he had success with, and like you said, in that playoff run where Dyami was not just a contributor, he was a main player on that playoff run. So I think it makes sense. It's to go back to a guy, and you're going back to one of the elite quarterbacks in the game, somebody you have good chemistry with. And for his role, in terms of, like, especially with, we hear about David Blau as an offensive coordinator, like, for his role, and we're gonna compare it to like Detroit. Like, a lot of people compare this offense to the Detroit Lions offense, right? That's what they envision. When you hear, Antonio Williams is gonna be it's gonna be St. Brown, right? St. Rob Brown, right? When you hear that type of stuff, well, you're gonna need he's not Jameson Williams, but he is the deep threat. Like, he can take the role of the JMO, right? He could take that role. So I do think there is a slot for Dyami for this offense, because they do need a deep threat, and I don't think they have a deep threat on this roster at the moment.
So, Wally, I was just doing some research here with my research staff, and they provided me a stat.
Thank you. They got you. Thank you. I'm glad you have one.
Thanks.
Yeah, point him out. Point him
Yeah.
out.
My hand that used the mouse. No, but check this out, right? Like in the league, in the league, like the NFL, where comfort is the most important thing. You go back to 2024 when the Commanders had one of the best seasons that they've had in the last 25 seasons. And you think about what worked well, right? And Dyami worked well. He knew the system that was in place. He got hot at the right time. He had the connection with Jaden Daniels. But when you have a new offensive coordinator in David Blau, you want to get pieces around him that he's comfortable with. Yes. He was on this staff as an assistant quarterbacks coach in 2024. So he knows how Dyami Brown plays. That is the biggest key, I believe, right now, versus Dyami going to Jacksonville last year, where you get into a new situation, there's opportunity to make some money. You get a new situation, they don't really know you and how you are in the building, right? So Dyami comes back to a familiar system, familiar coaches, familiar teammates, and they already know what he can do. So I think he's in this role here where he can actually be successful because, hey, you know what I can do. There's not a lot of money attached to me. You're not expecting number 2 wide receiver productivity. Exactly. It may just be some packages here and there, maybe some gadgets here and there. And the one thing I did notice when I was watching Dyami Brown's YouTube channel, which was a great production that he's done, shot by Jack Gillen, Charlotte area guy. He mentioned the brotherhood, and that's something that Dan Quinn has been preaching since he got here in 2024. The brotherhood and the teammates and the camaraderie. And that's something that's, while we call it corny, it has been corny. It was definitely corny last year when we weren't winning.
It was corny last year. It was corny last year.
But when you think about the teammates and you think about what that means, he's coming back to a system that he's comfortable with, in an area that he's lived for years now. He knows how long it takes to get to the practice facility. He knows the people inside the building. He knows the people at the stadium. He knows the fans that really rock with him. He has that comfort. So now you can just come and play football. That's the thing about sports, right? A lot of these athletes are creatures of habit, right? So you get in a new situation and something's off, you're not able to perform in the way that you should. And people will say, oh, well, it's, these pampered athletes, you should be able to just perform anywhere because you're getting paid all this money. While true, comfort does play into it a lot, man. Think about when you go on a trip and you go to a hotel, a hotel that you stay in that's comfortable feels a whole lot better. You relax more. You feel like you're at home. You get a little more comfortable. If you're staying there for 3 or 4 days, you might take your stuff out of the suitcase and put it in the drawer. You might not leave it in the suitcase. You might take all your shoes out and lay them next to the bed, right? So you have that comfort level. And I think in the NFL, where it's all about performance, and you come back to a place where you're comfortable, you come back to a place that knows you and they know what you can do. And it's not going to be a whole lot of expectations of him, in my opinion. But when he does get his number called, which is now 6, when he does get that number called, let's hope that it is for 6 when he does get his number called.
I love it. We read some comments in the chat. George, what's going on? George said if the Dyami connection with JD5 is like what people have said, then he can and will survive. Agreed. My man Todd said 2026 version of Leslie Shepard or Albert Connell. That would be the Albert Connell would be great because Albert Connell had a 1,000-yard season with Michael Westbrook that year.
It was good, man. He was a nice little 1-2 punch.
He was. He was a deep threat. He was the deep threat in that offense. With North Turner's offense back in the day. Let's see, we got here. Not sure about the JD5. Trust him more than others outside of Terry. Yeah, I not sure about that. JD. I think JD. Go ahead.
You know what, Paul? It's funny you say that because one thing about working in this industry, you get a lot of connections, and people tell you stuff under anonymity. And I tell you this, JD5 is comfortable with his receivers. Yeah. And he makes the effort to make his receivers comfortable, right? Think about how Sam Hartman stayed around here for longer than what it should be, right? On the strength of Jaden Daniels, right? And I'm not taking anything away from his ability or his skill. But what I'm saying is that if Jaden Daniels comes and say, hey, I need this guy to stay. I like this guy. He needs an opportunity. They're going to listen to him because he is our future.
Yeah, I think Paul is saying that JD
does trust him or does
I think he said he does. I'm guessing.
Pull it back up. Let's read it again.
Because I've heard. I mean, I've had conversations with Paul, so I know like this doesn't sound like Paul saying he doesn't trust him.
Well,
I think it may be not sure about that. JD5 trusts him more than other outside.
Got you. Okay, good.
I think he does trust him. Yeah, I think he.
Well, look at me, loud and wrong. My
bad. No. Because I feel like I've had having conversations with Paul outside of this. I'm like, nah, this doesn't sound like Paul. Because when just reading it sounds that way. Don't get it twisted. Sean says, if we sign both Diggs and Ayuk, then 2 receivers have to go. Yeah, I don't think we're signing both of those individuals. So I don't think that's going to be a thing, Sean. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think
can we stop at that for a second?
Yeah, go for it. Here, start right there. Go ahead.
I know there's a lot of talk about both of those guys here. And I think if you get an opportunity to maybe take a flyer, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But I think the times of flash in the pan, trying to catch somebody while they're hot, to make a Super Bowl run, I don't think that's this roster. I don't think, or this staff. I think the staff is really cautious about who they bring in and want to really build continuity because they're trying to get this thing going for a couple years. They tried last year was the year where they tried to bring in the one and done guys, and it didn't work because of age and because of money. But I really think they're trying to build some continuity with the core group and really get guys in here that can last for multiple seasons, which will speak to the depth of who they have here, right?
Yeah.
I think Ayuk, while it may change up with him playing with Jaden, I feel like they're not in the business of risking a whole lot to bring him in here. If he gets cut and he's he's somebody that they can sign, he can take a little cheap deal and get him in to play. Cool, I believe that. Stephon Diggs, I think that might be I think Stephon Diggs won't get signed until training camp by anybody because you wait for injuries, you wait for things that'll happen, and he'll have opportunity then. And then, and I'm not a guy that's opposed to bringing in people with baggage because I feel like everybody, needs second chances and things like that. But does his ability outweigh the extra drama that he may bring into this staff? I don't know if that's true. It sounds good. He would like that, he could be here, be a nice home team story and come back. But I don't think that's the direction that they're going. I believe he's a great player. I believe he can still play in this league, but I don't know if that's what they're trying to do here, especially with the Diggs situation.
I will say this: if I had to choose, and we'll go back. If I had to choose between the two, I probably would. And it's not even because he's a hometown kid. It would probably be Diggs over Ayuk, and the only reason
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and the only reason why I would choose Diggs over Ayuk is because I know we can talk about his off the field stuff. And it really isn't even football. Like, it's not on field stuff either. What I'm like referring to. It's more that which Stephon did whatever happened with his drama, whatnot. That's whatever. But he's innocent, so it is what it is. And the stuff he's had in the past, where people look at like him as a cancer or this, that, and the other. But like, there ain't nothing worse than quitting on your team.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs ain't never quit on his team. Now, you can make an argument that like he cares too much and he kind of like he's volatile at times. You can make that argument, but quitting on a team is way worse than anything. I don't care if you're Jayden's boy or whatever.
And I'm curious of the details of that, Wally. Like, I mean, as we've seen with this Rossini Vrabel situation, right? What they let you see is that means it's way more underneath, right?
Oh, sure, it's more. Yeah.
What they let get out is what they let get out, but it's so much more underneath. I'm curious as to the details and the layers of that situation because I know it's kind of volatile out there.
Yeah, I know it's bad, but I just know that like at the end of the day, like we know organizations treat players horribly, period. But the one thing that players do is they play for each other. Like that's the thing that's always been like, if he didn't get paid, then I would make the argument like, yeah, I mean, that's obvious. But he got paid and he decided, and obviously something bad definitely happened for that to happen, right? But at the end of the day, like when you're a player, you like, it's like that locker room is a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you typically play for the next person. And when you just kind of like quick communication with pretty much everybody at the time on your team, like a majority of folks, because a lot of folks who were close with him were like, well, we haven't spoken to him in a minute, or this, that, and the other. True or false or whatever. But I just think that, like, if we're gonna go by optics, right? Because we can say the same thing about Stephon Diggs about why he's vocal, right? There could be a reason why he's so vocal at times in situations. But quit if on the outside looking in, quitting on a team to me is worse than anything. Quitting on your teammates is worse than anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, man, the way they're trying to build this team and this roster, I don't think they want to bring anything in here, anyone in here that's going to be a distraction.
I agree.
Whether that's your homeboy or not.
Yeah.
I think, unless, like I said, unless it's like super cheap and you don't have to give up anything for them, then you'd be a fool not to, right? Yeah. But I just think you have to really be conscientious about what you bring in. And I mentioned this on other shows as well, that I think Dan Quinn has to be very strategic because Dan Quinn is on the hot seat, in my opinion. I think he has to have some success and he has to be ascending. And I don't know if he can afford to have confusion inside of this locker room this year without it costing him his position. So I think they're going to be real strategic with who they bring in if they decide to bring in anybody else. And you may not even need to make that decision, because if you get Treylon Burks to play well, if you get Van Jefferson to play well that you signed in the offseason, if Jalen Lane looks like more than just a special teamer, if Luke McCaffrey comes back like a dog and plays well, you don't know what you get, so we'll see how it plays out. But I definitely think they're going to be strategic about who they bring in.
Totally agree. We got some more questions. George says, who is he up against right now at wide receiver? Ain't much. Terry is clearly the one. Anybody, including the rookie, can be the number 2. True.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think they will carry 6 this year. I think they'll carry 6 wide receivers. And we can wait at a later date to find out who they are, but I think they'll carry 6 wide receivers. And I think what helps Dyami as well is that he's not afraid to play special teams.
Yeah.
He has played gunner. He is an option at returns if need be. So he does play special teams. I think this is I think this roster, the way that they're building it, it's going to be a workman's type roster. It's like, hey, we need guys that can work, guys that can do everything, guys that can bring their hard hat and really, impact the game. So I think that might help him in the long run, the fact that he will play special teams in this in his role.
Yeah, I like that one. I definitely like that thought. I like that thought of him playing teams. You're right. That does open things up for him compared to like a Van Jefferson and other dudes. He plays teams. Deluxe is David Blau. Blau was with him, and Dyami was an early signing. Seems like the team and Brown want it to happen. Totally agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with that, Arch. That's a very big point. Like we said, man, that I think that wasn't something that we actually saw coming, but the fact that the marriage happened so quick, they both came back to the table. I think it was one of those situations like, Wally, you've had it before, and I've had it too, even though I've been married now. But it's like an old girlfriend that you just fell out, but it wasn't tumultuous. You just fell out, and then you spin the block, and you're like, maybe we can,
still make it work.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens, and like not every relationship ends bad, and the fact that he's able to come back,
definitely.
And he's able to like kind of get back in the mix, and like both parties feel like they're excited about having him here. You also mentioned the contract earlier that he's not getting a lot of money, so it's almost a prove it situation for him.
Yeah.
He played well in the playoffs, got a payday in Jacksonville. It didn't work out. Now he's in the stages where I need to rebuild and prove myself and go to the levels that I think I can go back to. So he's going to come in here willing to do everything. Every play call he gets, every ball opportunity he gets, he's going to try to make his waves.
I agree. We got another comment. Paul says competition between Dyami Brown and Treylon for number 2 is going to be lit.
Brother, I'm telling you, and I'm not.
Go for it, bro.
People have been kind of
forgetting about Treylon.
Yeah, like just down on the decisions at receiver. But I really think, man, Treylon Burks will be a steal for this roster. I mean, 6'2", 225 was a top pick down in Tennessee, and it didn't work out. He came here and it was a reclamation project. He's excited to be here. He's made some plays. He knows the system. And I think he's gonna have that dog in him as well. Saying, hey, these guys took a chance with me. I like what they're building here. I get to play with a young quarterback. You know, he's gonna have opportunity to really get a lot of snaps in this offense and really be a key contributor in this offense. I'm excited to see what he can do. And this may be a situation where look at who you have on the field, right? You can have Terry on the field, or if Terry needs to blow, you can have Treylon Burks, Dyami Brown, and Antonio Williams on the field. You can have Jalen Lane in situations. If Luke McCaffrey makes the roster, how will he be a contributor? So I think you have a lot of different options that you can do here. And I think this team is not going to be just, 3 deep at receiver. They're going to play all 5 or 6 that they carry on a weekly basis. They're going to play all the guys, and they will all have opportunities, I think, to make plays in this offense.
Taj, what's going on? My guy says an underrated factor that most fans don't evaluate is players fitting in roles that suit them. I think that's a thing too. I think Dyami can have a role here that suits him. Deluxe says, think he's in wide receiver 4 to 6 discussion. Special teams play helps him have to play special teams, if not top 3. Deluxe also says, seems like it takes a while to earn JD5's trust. Dyami and Luke both started to earn it. I'll say this. I feel like, to be honest with you, I think Dyami earned JD5's trust early. Even in preseason. I think you remember the preseason.
The first preseason game,
he threw a bunch.
He's and it was a play that they flipped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, so I think he's always had, to be real with you, Deluxe, he's always had JD5's trust. The Luke thing we already know. I mean, I feel like that's to be examined. I say no, but that's to be examined. I do believe that JD5's trust in Luke isn't totally there yet. I think it got better last year, but I don't know if it's totally there yet. But I will say for Dyami, JD5 has, in my opinion, has always trusted Dyami.
Absolutely, I agree wholeheartedly with that, and I think that, like I said, this is not by happenstance. This was coordinated to be able to get him back here, and I think he'll have a great opportunity with this team.
Deluxe, what if bringing in one of JD5's former teammates was always Dyami? IU stands will lose it. Yeah, they will.
That is true. And you know what? I think, and Paul mentioned that Luke might get cut, but I do think there will be a log jam at receiver. Yeah. I also believe that because the way this organization is thinking, I think if somebody shows in preseason that they can play, that there may be a trade offer on the table. Somebody may be able to go for a late round pick if they're able to parlay that into that. I mean, I don't think making any moves are beyond them. I definitely think that they're going to be advantageous to try to make it happen with any guy here, and they're going to try to get the best 5 to 6 on this roster.
So D-Will, what is Dyami's ceiling on this team for you?
Man. I think he can be I think his ceiling for me, I think he could be like a 40 catch guy in this offense.
Okay.
Which means not a lot of targets, but when you do get the opportunities, I think he'll make the plays. I think he could be the deep guy. He could have spurts where he could have a game where he might get 6-7 targets, and be a top end guy, or he may have a game where he's not getting a lot of bump. And you got to think, we got a lot of running backs now, and a lot of running backs that can play hard. And I think they're going to go with a 2-back system, along with the 2-back rotation. So I think they're going to run the ball effectively this year, which will open up the defense over the top. So I think there will be some opportunities for him. I don't think it'll be a ton, but I think his ceiling here, I think, is about a 40 catch guy.
Yeah, I think his ceiling is 40 catches fair. Like 40 catches, I mean, nothing crazy. Like 40 catches is fair. I think he's the guy who can be like the home run guy. Because I mean, not for anybody who's not a Dyami believer or whatnot, but you do just take it for being factual and face value. He gets open on the deep ball. That's not a make it up thing. He does get open on the deep ball. We've seen it here as Washington fans. Him coming down with this is a whole different question. The passes haven't been on point at times, but he's gotten separation. And in the NFL, in Deluxe, in D Will, you know this, like getting open is the hard part. Sure. Like catching the ball is supposed to be the easy part. Like when you got a receiver who can run a particular route and get open, that is the hard part. Knowing that the guy's going to run this particular route and he's still able to get open and get separation, that is difficult. And we saw last season that this team did not have guys who can stretch it vertically. That was an issue when Terry went down. They didn't have guys. They tried to put Jalen Lane out there at times, but obviously he struggled. But having a guy that can get vertical and can get separation and can get open is valuable. You know what I mean? Like it's more valuable for this team than any other position, to be honest with you. The slot guy, the way this offense is the way we've heard that that David Blau will use certain weapons in it. The slot guy may not be as valuable as that particular player because they're talking about moving Terry around. So you can move Terry in the slot at times and have guys on the outside. So that may not be as valuable as having a guy to say, you know what, we need you to go get this deep one. Like we need that non-route guy. We need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to the West Coast for tuning in, man. What's up? I appreciate you locking in. Of course, West. You know what I'm saying? And the Dodgers won today, so shout out to West Coast for tuning in, man. But I'll say this, man. You saw what Dyami Brown does well, right? He can stretch the defense. He can blow the top off the defense. He did that in Carolina with Sam Howell.
Yeah,
he did that in 2024 with Jaden Daniels. He did that in small spurts in his first couple seasons here. He had that game where he had 2 touchdowns against Tennessee.
The Titans,
I was sitting right there for that, man. That was an awesome game. I believe was Carson Wentz the quarterback for that.
Yeah, Carson Wentz was that game. Yeah, Carson Wentz was the quarterback.
So he's proven that he can get past the defense, and he is a threat in the air. It's just now in this offense when you're not going to be the number 2. It's taking full advantage of every opportunity that you get. So if you are the gadget guy or you are the guy that can stretch the field, or if you go, 3 wide receiver sets, being able to stretch the defense out, that's what you're going to need to do. And I truly believe that what we've seen from him, he will be able to affect the game in that way. 5 has a cannon, 5 can get it out there to him. I just think I definitely think he's going to be on this roster. The question will be how much will he affect the game? How many opportunities will he get with it being so many receivers? And then I think it's all dependent upon what Blau calls, whatever Blau's offense will be, because that's something that we still don't know yet. I think that's the unknown with David Blau and Durante Jones. We don't know what schemes they're going to run. We don't know what they're going to lean on and what's going to be kind of their primary focus. So I think whatever that is, they'll have something in there for Dyami. And if it's sporadic or if it's in spurts, he's going to have to be able to be effective anytime he's in there.
But why can't he be the wide receiver 2 to you, in your opinion? Because
I think he can.
Okay, because we said you were saying that he's gonna have to worry about taking advantage of opportunities if he's not the number 2. And I was at the moment, I mean, other than Paul said it to me, other than Trey for that position, we're talking about number 2 outside, receivers. Why can't he be the number 2?
No, I believe that he can be that number 2. I just don't know if he'll be the number 2 100% of the time. I think he'll be able to split touches. So I believe if it's him and Treylon Burks, I believe they'll split touches. But I don't think he'll be the consistent starting number 2. I think the only thing that we know for sure at wide receiver is that Terry McLaurin will be the one receiver, and that has been for the last few years. And I think everyone else will be interchangeable, and they might go with the hot hand, just like how we did in previous years. That the guy with the hot hand, we got to roll with him. So I don't know if he will be the 2. I mean, I'm hoping he is. I would love for him to get through training camp and he's at the top of the depth chart with Terry McLaurin as the second wide receiver on this team. But we just don't know what it's going to be. And I think it's just going to, it's going to be play call dependent. It's going to be what David Blau likes to do. And if he fits what Blau likes to do and he makes every opportunity, he could ascend up the depth chart and be the number 2 after Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Deluxe. What my man Deluxe says, Dyami and Lane Luke 4 to 6. Terry Williams are 1-2 right now. Who's third? Burks, Jefferson. I don't think Jefferson makes the team. Wide receiver to be named later. So I don't think Jefferson makes the team. I think his contract is lesser than Dyami.
Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
So
I don't think Van just makes the team. I don't think he makes the team.
I think they might have brought him in for depth.
I think he's a camp body, to be real with you.
Wow.
I think he's a camp body. I mean, just like anybody, they've done it before. It's not like they brought Gallup in, and everyone thought Gallup was gonna it was camp body. I think he's a camp body.
Camp body with an opportunity.
Yeah, with an opportunity. Like I don't his body of work has never been to a point, and to be honest, at this point in time in his career, the best of Van Jefferson was more year 1, year 2 to year 3. Everything else has been Van Jefferson has been pretty much a guy that might make the team or not make the team on his other stops. He's not a guy that has gotten gotten a good burn or good bump at wide receiver. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Like I don't look at him as a guy that's gonna get that type of play. I think it could be a practice squad play, to be real with you.
Well, I also think that their roster depth at wide receiver may be dependent upon how many tight ends they keep.
Yeah.
And that's all going to come with what type of offense is Blau going to run, right? So I think they'll keep 3 active and maybe 1 on the practice squad. But like, what if they come and say, hey, we need 4 wide receivers because 4 tight ends because of what we plan on doing. So, that's Bates, that's Chiga Quankwo.
Yeah.
Maybe they keep Ben Sinnott. They like what Kosin Yankoff did last year.
Yeah, Kosin been good.
Or maybe Ben Sinnott is the odd man out. Like who knows what happens? Possible. But I think their stuff is really going to be contingent upon what scheme Blau is going to run or what Blau likes to show. I really think they might line up and be smash mouth a little bit more, especially like I said with the amount of running backs that they have and the style of running backs that they have. So I really think both are going to be contingent upon what they like to do on offense. And I now that you say it, I do believe Van Jefferson could be a body. I mean, it could be just a guy with an opportunity to come in here and play. And this is about talent acquisitions. You want to get the best guys in here. So if you got 12 guys in here, you're gonna have to find out who the best 6 are. And that means some fan favorites might be gone, some fan favorites might be traded, some fan favorites, it just might not be their time yet. But I do believe they have to find out who the best 6 guys are, and they're gonna have to activate those guys.
So I do think, and I know this is the thing about everyone talks about like they're bumping, and this is the thing about they're bumping Williams to automatically a starter, and I'm like, people gotta be careful with that. Like that, and I mean that not because I don't believe in his talent or whatever. At the end of the day,
who would you say?
That people are bumping Williams automatically as a starter.
Antonio Williams, gotcha.
Yeah, as a starter, and I think you got to be careful with that because I'm gonna keep saying he's a 3rd round pick. 3rd round picks, other than like it's rare that 3rd round picks jump into it to be starters. Now, granted, you can look at what they have in the building. You can be like, okay, he could be better than that, but he's gonna have to earn it. I think, to be honest with you, all these guys they got brought in, and then you can put Van Jefferson in it. I do think you have your bias. I think their coaches will have their bias on who they want to be in said role, but I don't think they're going to ignore the competition element of things. So, say if Van Jefferson is outperforming Dyami thoroughly, then Van Jefferson, I think, will probably make the team over Dyami. But it has to be. It's almost like boxing, right? Or like when you fight the champion, when you fight the champ, you can't just beat the champ by like a round. You got to dominate the champ to take that chance belt. Like that's how it is. You just can't. Oh, it's up in the air. Like you can see a reason why the champ lost that one, but no, it's got to be defiant. It's got to be definitive. Like you got to know that this dude got his butt whipped. So the same thing happens when, to me, in this wide receiver battle, that they're gonna have their favorites. If you want to take one of those slots, you're gonna have your camp has to be 10 times better than everybody else. Like your preseason games has to be 10 times better than that other person. So that's when, in my opinion, there's no slot other than Terry. I'm gonna be real with you. That's guaranteed. In terms of like, I think Williams is guaranteed on making the teams. Don't get it twisted. But in terms of being slotted at number 2, because at the end of the day, you can say he's a starter because you're going to slot him as a slot receiver, right? In today's NFL, you run 3 receivers anyway, but he's not going to be playing outside. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't drafted to be an outside receiver. He's drafted to be a slot receiver. So that just opens up again for your real outside receiver. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. When I mean starter, I'm not talking about starters 3, because yes, they're going to be three dudes who start, period. That's how it is in the NFL. But I'm talking about outside receivers. Like when you have a base formation with two wide receivers, you're going to have Terry out there and you're going to have another outside receiver. That's Treylon Burke or that's Dyami. But it won't be, because again, from all of the scouting reports or whatever, and what people have visually thought that what Williams can be, it ain't he's an outside inside. He's an inside slot receiver.
Yeah, I think, with that being said too, if there was ever a preseason that was more important, I think it's gonna be this year.
Agreed.
Ain't nobody sitting this preseason. I need to see what you can do. I need to see if you can play. I need every opportunity that you can be on the field to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I think, health is going to be very important this year. I think if one of these guys not named Terry McLaurin or Antonio Williams go down, this could be the end of them here. I think you just don't have the time to wait on guys. You can't Noah Brown in this situation, right? You got to have guys that can play. So I think preseason is going to be so important this year. And, I need everybody to play.
Todd says, so this is someone always brings this up, and I always break this down to folks. All right, not putting pressure on him, but Terry was a third rounder. So this is like this again, the anticipation, or this is the difference again. Terry coming in, I think people keep getting it confused when they keep bringing Terry up. So when Terry got drafted, he wasn't getting drafted to be a starter. If you remember, like that's what I'm saying, he wasn't getting drafted to be a starter.
Because who do we have here?
We had Dotson.
Yeah.
So we had Dotson. So I'm gonna be real. Like when people bring him up, I always have to like kind of break it down to folks. I think when I say third rounder, they assume that I mean like there's never been a third rounder who started. That's not the one I'm talking about. What happened with Terry as a third rounder is that he got in and then he impressed so heavily that it was like, oh, he's gonna not just be the starter, he's gonna be the number one wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It went from being, oh, he's too good. They didn't think he was gonna be a starter. They drafted him thinking he's going to play special teams. If you remember, they drafted him to think that he's going to play special teams. Terry blew it out so thoroughly that it was, oh snap, he could be a number one. Jay Gruden, give him credit for that. Jay Gruden spotted that, so I'm gonna give Jay Gruden his flowers. That's when Terry was working out, because a lot of people thought he was foolish. They were like, whoa, you're already giving up on Dotson for Terry McLaurin. Basically, that's what happened. So. But Williams is coming into this situation a little bit different. Like people are coming in here thinking like he's automatically going to be a starter. Again, third rounders don't typically come in. You don't typically draft a third rounder to automatically be a starter. That doesn't typically happen. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That doesn't typically happen.
No, I agree, man. And the fact that Terry was able to come in and like really make a name for himself, especially that game against the Eagles. But I think they're bringing in Antonio Williams. If he happens to come in and just balls out,
that's what I'm saying. Then that's what happened. Perfect. That's what it is. And Todd, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the coaching staff. I'm saying fans have come up with the assumption that he's already going to be a starter. The coaching staff hasn't said anything.
Yeah,
I haven't said that. I agree with you. It's the fans who automatically have come in saying, "Oh, he's going to be." They've already compared him to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Thank you. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I keep messing the name up. Amon-Ra St. Brown. But the fans have already anointed him being that type of player. And I'm like, you guys got to pump your brakes. Like, because again, if you look at what Brown did at SC, it's totally different from what Williams did in Clemson. It's totally different. They're two totally different, like production-wise, two totally different.
No, I agree. And like I said, man, we don't know anything. And I think, in years past, we had a lot to go off because there was so many leaks, right? We had so much to go off because we had so many leaks. But now it's no leaks getting out, so people get a lot of chance to just guess. And people get a lot of chance to kind of think about what they think might happen. But you won't know. I think like I said, I think the preseason will be very important because then you'll get the first look to see how some of these guys will get used, and you'll get a chance to see how they may plan on rolling these guys out for this season.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. So, all right. So We talked about Williams. So and how much pressure do you think Dyami has, like knowing that you got like a Williams out there, knowing, and even a Treylon Burks, how much pressure is on Dyami to kind of feel like, all right, I gotta really ball out for me to be on this squad?
So I'm gonna look at this like a horse race. You know, when the horses are racing, they have their blinders on, so they can just focus on running their race. I think that's where Dyami Brown is at this point in his career. He's just focused on what he can do, because he has to only focus on that. I think the most pressure that Dyami has is on himself, and I think he's brought that pressure on himself to prove that he can actually play in this league. You know, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. When you get the Jaguars to invest in you and believe that you can be their next guy, and it doesn't happen, you leave there with a chip on your shoulder.
Of course.
So you get to go back to your old team where they wanted you to be here. You wanted to be here. And you say, look, if I want to be the receiver that I believe that I can be, the receiver that Jacksonville paid me to be, then I have to go out here and make a name for myself. I have to go out here as if every game was the 2024 game against the Detroit Lions in the playoffs. I have to play like that. And I believe he will put as much pressure on himself than anybody else can put on him, because he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to be the household name again. He wants to be the guy that really left here on a high note.
Yeah.
And the fans really had changed their perspective about Dyami Brown, because it was funny, man. Not just because I'm just a Tar Heel fan, but the entire time Dyami Brown was here, everybody was asking, well, why is he here? Like, what does he do? Why is he continuously making this roster? Yeah, he's just a gunner. Like, what does he do? And then that playoff run, you saw what he can do. He can stretch the defense. He can make plays. He make critical plays. He blocks well.
Yeah, he blocks well too.
You know what I'm saying? So like, he got a chance to prove himself what he can be. And I think he wants to get back to that form. So I believe all the pressure that's on Dyami Brown will be self-induced pressure, because in his mind, he believes he can be that 2024 player for this team. And I believe the team believes that he can be that guy on a full-time basis. He just needs to get back in the rhythm and have the opportunity to do it again.
Well, I mean, obviously, again, you're a Carolina fan. You've seen him play in Carolina. And we've seen what he did with Jaden Daniels in 2024. But can JD5 and David Blau unlock the version of Dyami that you as a North Carolina fan saw in North Carolina?
I believe that they can. I believe that he will be unlocked. I believe he will have an opportunity to get back to rare form. And I'll say this, I believe because they know what he can do, I believe he's going to get first dibs at the stuff that he can do well. You don't bring a guy like that back if you're not going to give him opportunity to really play ball. And I think he has the vote of confidence from the quarterback. He has the vote of confidence from upstairs because they brought him back. And I believe truly that he thinks he can be that guy. And this team is ascending, and you got a chance to see firsthand when the team is doing well and the fans support you, they got your back, man. It's the battery in your back. You believe you could do anything. And I think they will be able to unlock him, and whatever they have him in here doing, it'll be done well. If he starts out week 1 against the Eagles at the number 2 receiver, I'd love to see it. And I believe every opportunity he gets, he's going to thrive. As long as he can stay healthy, and as long as he's active, and his attitude will be great, he'll have an opportunity. And I truly believe that he can get back to the 2024 form the same way Jaden will get back to 2024 form, and will be a better ball club.
I just also think if you have faith in Jaden Daniels as a quarterback, and you think you believe, like we all believe, that he's an elite caliber quarterback, then I believe that he can definitely, because he had success with Dyami Brown, and Terry McLaurin, a healthy Terry McLaurin, that they'll be fine. And Dyami will be fine. And whatever role they give him. And because, again, like I mentioned earlier, he has an ability in the NFL, which is difficult, to get open on the go route. Like, he has that ability. And if you have a quarterback who's accurate and who can find him, who can thread the needle, and he can get great separation to a point where he doesn't have to be perfect on said passes, then he has an opportunity to be very successful. It's not and no knock on any quarterback, but it ain't like he's playing with quarterbacks that Dyami had to endure and Terry McLaurin had to endure in the past. You have a guy in JD5 where you don't have to work as hard. You know what I mean? If you do your job, the ball placement shit will be elite.
Yeah.
So I think he can have success with JD5 and, like you said, David Blau, because I just feel like you have the quarterback to do it. And we can only go, and it's the unknown, but we're going to compare what having, say, a Cliff offense and a Ben Johnson offense, right? Well, you're going to have elements of people being moved around, and you're going to try to isolate said players against maybe a linebacker or maybe a safety. And I would take my chances with Dyami Brown on a linebacker in a situation. I'd take my chances with Dyami Brown on a safety. You know what I mean? Like getting that one-on-one with a safety. So if we're going off that alone with your quarterback play, that gives you more of an advantage and gives you an explosive advantage with that type of player compared to somebody else. And it gets me to my next question for you, because, you know, these social media streets is real. They're very real. And it's always a comparison between these two players, or who's better, Dyami Brown or Luke McCaffrey. I see it all the time when I go on my social media. When I go on Twitter, I won't even say my social media. When I'm on Twitter, X is what they call it now. Your opinion, like, who do you feel is better between the two? Do you feel like it's a thing? There's one bet. Like, who do you feel is better? Do you think that that's even a thing?
Shout out to David Sanchez, LA. What up? You know what I'm saying? West, check it in. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely right. Yeah. Same way, bro. If you go back and look at them, the 2024 playoff run podcasts, every show that we did, I was like, man, it was a crazy time.
Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Loved it. So definitely, if we're good again, all the podcasts going crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But to answer your question, I don't believe they're the same player. I think they're two completely different players. I think they're two different guys. But to answer your question, I think that Dyami Brown does a little bit more, or can do a little bit more. But I also don't think we've seen the full gravity of what Luke can do. Like, he's still kind of an unknown to us here, because he's been hurt, or, you know, haven't had a whole lot of snaps. But I believe, man, with the opportunity, we'll get a chance to see what both can bring. But to answer the question, I'm gonna go with Dyami Brown. I just believe, from what we saw in 2024, I believe he can get back to that form and maybe even better.
Yeah, for me, it's what you just said. Honestly, it's what you can do, and it's more of what this team needs, right? I know you look at what Luke did last year. I'm giving him credit. Last year, he, you know, had a decent year last year, and Deluxe need both to be more consistent. Agree with that, Deluxe. For sure. I agree with you, bro. When you look at Luke, like, he played better last year, and a lot of people look at, like, well, I think I saw somebody tweeted, Lucas 1 year last year did more than what Dyami's done here in his stint here in DC, and I was like, well, there's circumstances with that, my friend. When I saw that, and I was like, well, if you look at it, Dyami's had a situation where, you know, he's still playing with Terry, he's still playing with other receivers. Everybody went down, so Luke pretty much got the opportunity to get a lot of burn in that said situation. They didn't really have a receiver. Like, when I mean a receiver, a real number one receiver, a legit one, other than maybe Debo. And there were times that Debo was out, right? So Luke had to be elevated in this role. So no receiver, you know, Dyami never really had that type of situation. But even with that, neither here nor there, and it goes to what Deluxe said, both have to be consistent. Got opportunities. Yeah, Luke got more opportunities because everyone got hurt. Agreed, Deluxe. Totally agree with you. And so I know people say I don't like that comparison, but what I do like, and when you look at what both players bring to the table, like, Luke is a slot receiver. That's what he is. He's not an outside receiver. He's a slot receiver. And he's still learning that position, because in college he played quarterback for most of his career. in college. And then he went to Rice and played receiver. And that's what happened. And, he played that 1 year and he got drafted here. So, but when you look at Dyami, I've said this before, and I said this earlier, what he brings to the table is one-on-one, he's a problem. Like, you don't want a corner because a corner has to back up. They can't play him tight. They have to back up and give him a cushion because of his speed. Like, you know what I mean? Because of his speed, you have to play him a certain way. The safety has to shade over a certain way because of his speed. Dyami allows a lot more when he's out there compared to another receiver or whatnot.
Yeah, and if both play well, that's a benefit for us because he's on our roster.
Facts.
So if you find out what Luke does well and you find out what Dyami does well and they're both able to thrive and do that, then that's a great problem to have because that means we're playing well. That means they've bloomed into their full self. And then the opportunity for them to continue to elevate their game, whether it's here or you get some capital back for either of them, you have opportunity. So I'm good with either of them. I believe that Dyami may be a little bit more well-rounded of what he can offer. But we'll see, man. I think we got to see.
What's going on, Jeremy? I love Jeremy. That's my guy. It's okay to disrespect Luke. He has done nothing to earn our respect. Hey, Jeremy, man, I missed you, my guy. You my guy, bro. We got here. Cody says it's going to be such a fun wide receiving camp. I agree. So many unknowns after one. The whole room was going to be battling. Might just tune them up for week one. I agree. I do like that. What's up, my guy? I do like that. I like the competition element of it. I like the unknown brings competition. That's what I do like about not having a said player like, oh, he definitely got this spot or whatever. I think the competition is going to be thorough because of it.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. And competition, it breeds what they need. So hey man, there's spots available, man. For $5.99.99. Hit me up. It's like, nah, I'm joking.
I don't think Cliff I don't know. I thought he did, to be honest with you. Dyami's skill set, his playing time came from when Noah. Yeah, that's true. Well, that is true. I think they like Noah more though. Paul, you stay trying to throw up Hilton, man. He's an unknown man. Stop it, Paul. Stop it. He's Jaden's, not because he's Jaden's friend. Stop it. I'm sick of the Jaden friend thing.
Man, I think to the previous comment, I think I don't think the staff like what Cliff was doing. So I'm thinking. I'm just saying. I think it could be conceivable that this offense might be a completely different look offense of what you're gonna see, and I'm here for it because if that means the team is gonna get better, then that's what I'm looking forward to.
Totally agree. Hey, we're about to shut this show down soon. But before we shut the show down, I need folks to already. I see a lot of folks in this YouTube chat thing. Hit the like button, man. Like the video now. I seen over 25 some odd people.
Smash the like button, man.
Smash the like button, man. Just hit the like.
Or if you're watching on IG, man, make sure you share it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it, because as this off season progresses, there'll be a lot of conversations like these, and as the moves continue to happen, urban sports scene, they're gonna be on top of it.
Appreciate you, man. Here we go. Got my man Jeremy. I mean, as for the receivers, I don't like sitting around worrying about what we don't have. Cliff's offense always got found out after one season. That's true. I agree. As Kyler Murray and Hopkins, I agree. That's always been a thing with Cliff. I agree with that.
Yep.
Delexis, I don't disagree. Dyami was going to start until Noah was brought in. That's true. He was. There was good talk about Dyami. There was in the preseason. There really was in the offseason. There was a lot of good talk about Dyami.
Absolutely, I agree.
Slim, I'm not gonna read that. I don't do foolish. I told you just got this agenda against Terry McLaurin. Like, I'm not gonna read that, bro. I want real discussion, bro. I'm not doing that. Everybody, thank you, Jeremy. Smash.
Getting closer to the joke writing team.
I know you're getting there, Jeremy. You're getting there, bro. You're getting there. Hey, Deluxe, before we end this, man. You got so many alias. I'm 22.
I know, man.
And DH.
Darian to work, man. I've been trying to lean more into it.
You want Darian now? You want Darian?
D Will, man. But I've been trying to lean because I have to remind people that it is my name. And
all right,
when that name comes up,
all right, I can do Darian. Darian's easy. All right, know what? I'm gonna do Darian because I know you're ESPN like. You know what I mean? So I gotta respect it. So Darian,
yes, sir.
Right, Darian, can you let people know how they can catch you on social media and catch your great content, my guy?
Absolutely. Well, of course, before I do that, Wally, of course, I appreciate you for always having me a part of everything that you're doing. So as always, man, love and appreciate you. Everybody out there, man, stop what you're doing. Smash that like button, whether you're on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. And you can follow me. D Will does it all on all social media platforms. Whole lot of things coming down the pipeline, especially this off season. You can hear me this week coming up on Tuesday. We're preempted because of the Orioles game, but you can hear me on Tuesday. It's a D Will Tuesday on ESPN 630, the Sports Capital DC, where you can listen live online. I'll be with my partner in crime, Mr. Mike Callow, for the line change. So make sure you check us out. You can also listen to the show after the fact on every podcasting platform. You can download there. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell everybody how much you love the line change. And then also make sure you're linked in with my guy, Lake Lewis Jr. I'll be on his program periodically this off season down in Richmond, ESPN Richmond 106.1. A lot of things coming with Lake as well, as far as content and as far as shows, man. So I'm just working, man. Just follow me wherever, man. D Will does it all. Something's always going to be going on, whether it's comedy, whether it's family stuff, whether it's home improvement, man.
I see you on TikTok.
Photography, man. We gonna do it all, man. But right now, I always talk about my Commanders, man. So yeah, I appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate all y'all in the chat for chiming in and talking and keeping this thing going, man.
Yeah, me and Darian were like, yeah, we can talk for Dyami for an hour. I said, I bet you I can.
I know we could. I was just making sure. I was like, I know we could.
I bet you I can. All right. I'm gonna call you Arch then. You want me to call you Arch? I'm gonna call you Arch. I'm gonna call you Arch. All right. I'm gonna call you Arch.
Call him Arch, man.
I'm gonna call you Arch now. I'm done with Deluxe. You Arch now. All right. You Arch. All right. We're done with that. All right. Oh, here. Jeremy said, I keep doing fantastic things, my brothers. Can't wait till y'all
Hey, listen. Let me say this.
Hey, man.
I will not speak down on anybody's job, but I will say this. You can listen to the other guys, man, and that's me and Mike Callow. Scroll on down the dial, ESPN 630, man. There's still so much great content on there. There'll be a lot of digital content coming soon there as well, ESPN 630. So don't forget the other guys, man. You got 106.7, you got 980, but you got 630, man. So check them out as well. A lot of great programs. Tony Kornheiser's there. Andy Poland is there. Callow is there. So continue to check out the other guys, man. And maybe you'll see me there on a regular basis. Who knows? But you gotta chime in to find out, man.
There you go. Y'all live in the morning. I need that.
No, I'm working my other job in the morning.
Exactly, man. You got real 9 to 5. All right.
That's why I do it all, man, because I'm always working.
Believe me. I know the grind, my guy. I know the grind. All right, man. All right. So anyway, appreciate everybody for pulling up, man. Hey, Jeremy, appreciate you. Yeah, Tony Kornheiser hates the Wizards. I can't mess with him. Does he hate the Wizards? I ain't know. Does he hate the Wizards?
He's getting ready to retire soon.
Oh yeah, he's about to be done. All right, and I love Tony too. That's messed up, man. All right, anyway, you've been listening. Well, first off, I appreciate Darian. He's always down to do the show. He's one of my good homies. So I appreciate him, and I love the work he's doing, and I'm so happy that he's doing great things. It couldn't happen to a better person. And also, I appreciate the folks out there in the chat. You all, like I said this when I was doing Allberg and Go Everything yesterday. I'm gonna just be redundant. You guys make this show happen. Like, this show is dope because of you all. Ain't nothing to do with me. I'm just out here reading y'all stuff. Y'all make me laugh. So y'all make it real entertaining and make it real cool to do. So I appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram, on X. Everybody pulls up, man. You guys are true. You guys are real. You guys are the real MVPs. Anyway, so I'm gonna close up. So let me close it out officially now. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Thing for ages. A Yeti Deuces. We are out. Peace.